Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. Diplomatic push intensifies amid rising West Asia tensions. The Iranian Foreign Minister Arakshi rules out any talks while Israeli strikes continue. Prime Minister Modi unveils 18,600 crore rupees of projects for Odisha with a vision document. Also launches major infrastructure push worth 5,200 crore rupees in Bihar. A sun salute spectacle as 25,000 children etch a record in Visakhapatnam with 108 Surya Namaskars. Prime Minister Modi to lead Yoga Day celebrations from the southeastern coastal city tomorrow. And in a largest ever data breach, 16 billion usernames, password credentials from Apple, Google and Facebook have been compromised. Diplomatic efforts gain momentum to find a solution in the Iran-Israel conflict. Well, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakshi met with foreign ministers of Britain, France and Germany in Geneva. However, the Iranian Foreign Minister said that there's no room for negotiations while attacks continue. The Israeli military said it carried out strikes on dozens of military targets in Iran overnight. And on the other hand, the United Nations Security Council also met to discuss the situation between Iran and Israel. Fuzail Ahmed reports.
The conflict between Iran and Israel entered its second week, but there is no let-up in exchange of strikes. The Israeli military said on Friday it carried out strikes on dozens of military targets in Iran overnight.
We struck
the building of SPND, the headquarters of the nuclear program in Tehran. This headquarters building is used for research and development of advanced weapons.
While in Israel, bomb disposal experts worked on Friday to remove explosives from a site of an Iranian missile strike in Beersheba, which caused a crater in the ground and damage to residential buildings. Amid escalating tension, efforts gained momentum for diplomatic solution. French President Emmanuel Macron pushed for returning to the negotiating table concerning Iran's nuclear program. In Geneva, foreign ministers of Britain, France and Germany met with their Iranian counterpart. Israel's UN ambassador Daniel Meron briefed media in Geneva.
We are operating in the name of regional stability and global security, and we expect the international community to be clear and steadfast in support of removing the imminent existential threat against Israel.
Prior to their talks with Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Arakshi, foreign ministers from Britain, France and Germany, known as the E3, plus the European Union's foreign policy chief, met at a restaurant in Geneva on Friday. Ahead of their meeting, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakshi also addressed UN Human Rights Council in Geneva.
Our peaceful nuclear facilities have also been targeted, despite their being under full monitoring of IAEA and despite the fact that attacking such facilities are absolutely banned under international law.
Earlier, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakshi rejected any negotiations with the United States while Israel continues its attacks on Iran. Also on Friday, the United Nations Security Council met to discuss the situation between Iran and Israel.
Diplomatic solution is within reach if the necessary political will is there. Elements for an agreement have been discussed. The IAEA can guarantee through a watertight inspection system that nuclear weapons will not be developed in Iran. They can form the basis of a long-standing agreement that brings peace and avoids a nuclear crisis in the Middle East.
Meanwhile, container shipping company Maersk said on Friday it had temporarily paused vessel calls at Israel's Haifa port amid escalating conflict with Iran. Fuzail Ahmed reports for DD India.
As tensions are escalating rapidly in West Asia amid the ongoing conflict there between Iran and Israel, now in response, countries around the world are moving swiftly to evacuate their citizens from the region. From New Delhi to Lisbon, governments are mounting large-scale operations to bring back their nationals. Here's a comprehensive look at the global evacuation effort.
India has launched Operation Sindhu to evacuate its citizens from Iran amid growing hostilities. 110 students were flown from Armenia's capital to New Delhi on the first evacuation flight. An estimated 10,000 Indians are currently in Iran. Efforts are also underway to bring back Indian nationals from Israel. There are more than 30,000 Indians in Israel. China has successfully evacuated over 1,600 citizens from Iran, with additional evacuations from Israel ongoing. The Chinese Foreign Ministry confirmed that several thousand nationals remain in the region, with further operations planned as the situation develops. The United States is utilizing both air and sea routes to evacuate its nationals from Israel. US Ambassador stated that flights and cruise ship departures are being arranged, with embassy teams assisting the Americans who wish to leave. Germany has conducted multiple evacuation flights from Jordan. On Wednesday, 171 people were flown out of Amman, followed by another 174 on Thursday. Officials confirmed additional flights are scheduled for the weekend. A final group of 65 Polish citizens arrived in Warsaw on Thursday, marking the completion of Poland's evacuation mission from Iran. In Lisbon, Portugal welcomed evacuees at the airport. A repatriation flight carried not only Portuguese citizens, but also German, Israel, Czech, Spanish, Austrian, Bulgarian, Argentine, and Ukrainian nationals, highlighting a coordinated multinational effort. France is organizing a ground convoy to transport its citizens from Iran to neighboring Turkey or Armenia. Buses will begin operating from Israel's Jordanian border on Friday with a chartered flight. With the conflict continuing to unfold, countries are racing against time to secure the safety of their citizens. Governments remain on high alert, closely monitoring the situation as evacuation effort expands. Sarita Chaudhary's report, DD India.
And shifting focus to India now, from high-speed trains to export-ready engines, from women's empowerment to clean water in every home, Bihar is clearly on a new growth trajectory. The projects launched on Friday are not just development initiatives, they're building blocks of a new narrative for Bihar and for India. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay reports.
In a significant boost to infrastructure and socio-economic growth in India's eastern state of Bihar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday laid foundation stones and inaugurated development projects worth over 5,200 crores in Siwan, spanning key sectors such as railways, water supply and power. In a symbolic leap for Make in India, Make for the World, Prime Minister flagged off a state-of-the-art locomotive built at the Marhaura plant for exports to the Republic of Guinea. This is the first locomotive manufactured for global markets in this factory.
हमारी सरकार घर के साथ-साथ मुफ्त राशन, बिजली और पानी की सुविधा भी दे रही है। इसमें सिवान के भी 4.5 लाख से अधिक परिवारों को पहली बार नल से जल मिला है।
Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated the new Vaishali-Deoria railway line project worth over Rs 400 crore and flagged off a new train service on this route. Also, to boost connectivity in North Bihar, Prime Minister flagged off the Vande Bharat Express between Patliputra and Gorakhpur via Muzaffarpur and Bettiah. While enlisting the recent developmental projects of Bihar, PM Modi also took a dig at Rashtriya Janata Dal, which ran the previous government. He said, "We believe in inclusive growth, while they believe only in growth of their family members."
यहाँ के हमारे नौजवानों ने तो 20 साल पहले के बिहार की बदहाली सिर्फ किस्सों और कथाओं में ही सुनी है। उन्हें बहुत अंदाजा नहीं है कि जंगल राज वालों ने बिहार की क्या हालत बना दी थी। जिस बिहार ने सदियों तक भारत की प्रगति को नेतृत्व दिया, उसको पंजे और लालटेन के शिकंजे ने पलायन का प्रतीक बना दिया था। पंजे और लालटेन वालों ने मिलकर बिहार के स्वाभिमान को बहुत ठेस पहुंचाई।
In a major boost to power infrastructure in the region, PM Modi laid the foundation stone for 500 megawatt-hour of battery energy storage system capacity in Bihar. For conservation and rejuvenation of River Ganga, Prime Minister also inaugurated 6 sewage treatment plants worth over Rs 1800 crore under the Namami Gange project. Prime Minister Modi also distributed keys and released first housing installments under the urban housing scheme, benefiting over 53,000 families. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Bhubaneswar to mark 1 year of the BJP-led government in Odisha. He led a colourful roadshow and addressed a massive gathering at the Janata Maidan. The Prime Minister also launched major development projects worth over 18,600 crore rupees on the occasion and also unveiled the Odisha Vision document.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the commemoration of the first anniversary of the BJP-led state government in Odisha on Friday. Upon arrival in Bhubaneswar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led a vibrant roadshow en route to Janata Maidan, the venue of the state-level function marking 1 year of the first BJP government in the state. Hundreds lined the streets eager to catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister, with many waving flags and cheering enthusiastically. At a grand public gathering at Janata Maidan, the Prime Minister laid the foundation stones and inaugurated key development projects worth over 18,600 crore rupees. These included the launch of new railway services and a fleet of 100 electric buses aimed at strengthening urban mobility and promoting green infrastructure. On the occasion, Prime Minister Modi also released the Odisha Vision document. Addressing the public gathering, he said the vision outlines an ambitious and future-ready roadmap for inclusive growth across the state.
बीते एक साल में भाजपा सरकार ने पूरी मजबूती के साथ काम किया है। साथियों, विकास का जो डबल इंजन यहां चला है, उसका फायदा भी दिख रहा है। आज भी यहां जो हजारों करोड़ रुपए के प्रोजेक्ट का शिलान्यास और लोकार्पण हुआ है, उसमें डबल इंजन की छाप है।
Emphasizing national security, PM Modi said that India has adopted a policy of zero tolerance towards violence and has intensified action against left-wing extremism in various states. He said the government remains committed to empowering the deprived, particularly tribal communities.
भाजपा सरकार ने एक तरफ हिंसा फैलाने वालों के खिलाफ सख्त एक्शन लिया, दूसरी तरफ आदिवासी क्षेत्रों में विकास की नई गंगा बहाई। इसी का नतीजा है कि आज नक्सली हिंसा का दायरा देश में 20 से भी कम जिलों तक सिमट गया है।
As Odisha marks 1 year under BJP governance, the Prime Minister's visit highlighted the centre's development agenda and vision for a more inclusive, secure and progressive future for the state. Rabindra Chauhan's report, DD India.
And still to come here on DD India News Hour. Ukraine and Russia complete the second prisoners of war exchange. UK MPs vote in favour of assisted dying law in historic step. And the singer Charles Brown departs the UK court after pleading not guilty to assault charge.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Mark Lynn. The Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered the keynote address at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum on Friday, attended by representatives from 140 countries and territories. Amid concerns over a slowing economy, Putin urged officials to ensure that Russia does not fall into recession under any circumstance. And his remarks come as the economists there are warning of a broader slowdown, with Russia recording its weakest quarterly growth in 2 years in the first quarter of 2025.
Some specialists and experts are pointing to the risk of stagnation and even a recession. This must not be allowed to happen under any circumstances.
Meanwhile, Russia and Ukraine exchanged more captured soldiers on Friday, the latest in a series of prisoner swaps agreed at peace talks in Istanbul earlier this month. According to Russia's defense ministry, a group of Russian servicemen was returned from the territory controlled by Kiev, and in exchange, a group of Ukrainian prisoners of war was handed over. Neither side had said that how many of these soldiers had been freed in Friday's swap. The two sides have carried out dozens of such exchanges since the start of the conflict in one of the only areas of dialogue between Moscow and Kiev. 2 rounds of peace talks in Istanbul have failed to result in a pause to the fighting. The Dutch city of The Hague will host the NATO summit next week with light security in place. In fact, I beg your pardon, not light, but tight security in place, as it welcomes 6,000 delegates and world leaders from 32 countries, including the US President Donald Trump, the French President Emmanuel Macron, and the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The Dutch Navy will deploy 7 frigates, and Belgium will also contribute 1 Navy vessel to monitor all activity at sea and in the air during the summit. It is the first time since NATO's founding in 1949 that the Netherlands is hosting a NATO summit. In preparation, the country has launched its largest ever security operation. It's dubbed Orange Shield. It involves secure motorcades, maritime combat helicopters, tens of thousands of soldiers and police officers, and sea patrols. Tight security there. Britain took a historic step towards allowing euthanasia on Friday when MPs backed the contentious legislation that would introduce assisted dying for terminally ill people. Lawmakers in the lower house of Commons, they voted 314 in favour to 291 against to send the proposal to the upper house of Lords for further scrutiny following 4 hours of emotional debate. The outcome sparked celebrations among supporters gathered outside Parliament, who say that legalized euthanasia will give people with an incurable illness dignity and a choice at the end of their lives. But opponents attending a neighboring counter-protest said that they feared vulnerable people could be coerced into dying and urged lawmakers to focus on improving palliative care instead. The Terminally Ill Adults End-of-Life Bill would allow assisted suicide in England and Wales for adults who have been given less than 6 months to live. In Romania, the centrist president Nicolae Dan has nominated the Liberal Party leader Ilie Bolazan as the country's new prime minister. This ends weeks of coalition talks aimed at tackling the EU's biggest budget deficit. Bolazan is now in talks with 4 pro-European parties to finalize cabinet picks and key fiscal steps aimed, that is, to bring about a confidence vote in Parliament next week. So the coalition has been grappling with how to cut the deficit amid pressure from Brussels and ratings agencies as well for tax hikes, a move that risks fueling far-right sentiment.
Vreau să mulțumesc
I appoint Mr. Ilie Bolojan as Prime Minister. I want to thank the parties that will form the government majority for all these weeks of discussions. It is in Romania's interest that the government be supported by a solid majority, and the parties have understood this. It is also in Romania's interest that in the majority that supports the government, the political forces collaborate, and I believe that they will.
în majoritatea
The French President Emmanuel Macron threw his weight behind plans for a unified European satellite manufacturing champion and called for accelerated deployment of satellites. Speaking at the Paris Air Show, Macron declared space as the next frontier for competition between world powers. President Macron also called for accelerated efforts across the board for the launch of satellite manufacturing and Starlink-like services. He expressed his desire to protect European sovereignty in space matters and also announced that the International Space Summit will be held in France in 2026. In one of the biggest data breaches ever, cybersecurity experts have confirmed the leak of a staggering, wait for it, 16 billion login credentials. 16 billion, mind you, including passwords. Now, the exposed data reportedly affects major platforms like Apple, Google, Facebook, GitHub, Telegram, and even government services. The breach follows earlier reports of an unprotected mysterious database with over 184 million records. But researchers now say that that was just the beginning. 30 massive data sets have been found since early 2025, some holding up to 3.5 billion records each. Experts warn this isn't just recycled data, it's fresh, weaponizable intelligence that could fuel phishing as well as account takeovers and large-scale cyber attacks. The government of Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is hanging by a thread following the withdrawal of a major coalition partner. The Prime Minister Shinawatra visited military units at the Cambodian border on Friday. This is to ease the public backlash over her criticism of the army in a leaked phone call.
Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatра's coalition government is on the brink of collapse after a phone call between her and former Cambodian leader Hun Sen was leaked. In the 17 minutes leaked call, Paetongtarn, daughter of populist former leader Thaksin Shinawatra, discussed an ongoing border dispute with Hun Sen, who is known to be a friend of her family. During the call, she also criticized her own military. The leak provoked public anger and prompted a key coalition partner of Paetongtarn's Pheu Thai party to quit. As the pressure intensified, Prime Minister Paetongtarn publicly apologized on Thursday.
I would like to apologize for the leaked audio of my conversation with the Cambodian leader, which has caused public resentment. I am deeply disappointed by the Cambodian leader for releasing the recording. I don't believe any other world leader would act this way. It is unacceptable breach of diplomatic norms. The Thai government and military remain committed to protecting the country's sovereignty. I want to emphasize that we are all on the same side, and I ask the public to stand with us as well.
As the phone call threw Paetongtarn's government into chaos, threatening to destroy the fragile coalition, she also reached out to the military in a bid to clarify her position. Though Paetongtarn received a boost on Friday when another coalition partner, the Democrat Party, pledged its support to her party, Thailand's youngest premier is still in an untenable position. Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who has been in office for less than a year, is facing legal threats with at least 3 petitions filed against the leader over the leaked call. Now, if any other coalition partner were to pull out, it could make her position untenable and could force an election on Thai citizens or lead to a change in government with a new coalition taking charge. Bureau Report, DD India.
Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense on Friday said that it detected 34 sorties of Chinese aircraft and several Chinese vessels. As per the Ministry of National Defense of the country, 24 aircraft, 15 crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait and entered the central, southwestern and eastern air defense identification zone. Now, earlier in the day also, Taiwan detected 50 sorties of PLA aircraft and 6 PLAN vessels. They were operating around Taiwan. Now, on Thursday, 25 aircraft from the PLA and 7 vessels of the PLAN were actually detected operating in the region. The Taiwanese have said that 19 out of the 25 sorties crossed the median line and entered into Taiwan's northern and also southwestern air defense identification zone. Here are some other stories making news from around the world. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre has said on Friday that he has announced, in fact, it's the decision to allocate 5% of the country's GDP to defense-related expenditures. This move, in fact, aims to strengthen national defense capabilities and ensure the safety of Norway's population. In Croatia, Dugi Otok Island, marine scientists there are demanding action to protect environmentally important meadows of seagrass, the damage inflicted by human activity there. Posidonia oceanica, commonly known as the Mediterranean tapeweed. It provides food and shelter for fish. It protects coasts from erosion and can play a vital role in helping to tackle global warming. The American singer Chris Brown on Friday, he pleaded not guilty in a UK court to a charge that he beat and seriously injured a music producer with a bottle in a London nightclub in 2023. The singer was held in custody for nearly a week in May after he was arrested in the northwestern city of Manchester. He was later released on bail. The 27th Shanghai International Film Festival launches the Belt and Road Film Week, in fact showcasing 15 well-crafted films from partner countries. With the theme of Travel with Films, this year's event features panel screenings in 5 Yangtze River Delta cities. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get you an expert view on what to make of the state of war in West Asia. And India's President Draupadi Murmu is on a 3-day visit to the hilly state of Uttarakhand. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. And now we are joined by Dr. Kinvraj Jangid. He's a West Asia expert from the O.P. Jindal Global University, and he's joining us from Tel Aviv. Dr. Jangid, thanks for being with us. Now, what are, Israel and Iran really trying to achieve with this direct war? Does it fit into, the bigger goals that both of them have for the region?
Thank you. Well, they both have certainly different set of agendas. Iranian agenda has been to carry on with its nuclear ambition. One doesn't get to know, is it very close to get to a nuclear weapon? In fact, there are contestations. Does it even want a weapon at all? Or is it something that is more likely an aggressive propaganda of the American and the Western media joined by the Israeli media? However, the last report of the IAEA, the Atomic Energy Agency of the United Nations, was the most turning point event. In the last 20 years, no matter how many Western pressures and sanctions happened, IAEA did not find Iran violating any of the NPT norms.
Right.
So 2 weeks back, IAEA's report was the most, I think, decisive blow to the Iranian narrative, because if IAEA said, we don't trust what's happening in Iran, Israel was ready with a plan to attack. And Donald Trump has been, in a way, very, very interestingly dragged into it. I mean, he's the president who didn't want to really get involved into any of the interventionist, adventures of the United States. But keeping it aside at the moment, so Iran certainly lost its main agenda. It came under a direct Israeli attack. And what is more revealing, in the last 8 days, it seems like Iran doesn't have a retaliatory attack on Israel. I've been here for the last 8 days.
Yes.
The Indian students got rescued from Tehran. Somebody on a national TV asked me, what's the situation in Israel? I said, actually, Israel is very stable. I mean, there are public buses running, there are universities functioning. And I doubt if there would be a emergency kind of a situation inside Israel, because Iran really has been exposed. So Iran lost the agenda, it has been exposed. And when it comes to Israel, well, it got something that has been its national obsession for the last 25 years. I should say it's more of an obsession of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, who really drove this point that Iran is an existential threat.
Indeed, Dr. Jangid, but now that things have moved to open war, though you seem to believe that, Israel clearly has the upper hand, how has that shifted power dynamics in West Asia, especially with the P5 countries like the US, Russia, China getting involved with trying to, some diplomatic push?
As of now, when America is not involved, and according to Donald Trump, for the next 2 weeks, he's not going to take any decision about it. It's a very, very tight fight between the two players. America's involvement would make it more complicated for the Iranians as well as for the region and for even the rest of the world. Because America's position is much more compromised against Iran. Unlike Israel, which does have, let's say, an existential fear from the Iranian negation of the Israeli state, Iranian negation of the two-state solution, and Iranian support to all kind of anti-Semitic and the anti-Zionist, proxy fights. America doesn't have such a thing. Think of it. Iran is becoming nuclear. If it is becoming nuclear, then in the similar case of India, going against this nuclear apartheid, the American and the Western countries' hegemony, which was imposed on the rest of the countries through NPT. So Iranian position will get much more, let's say, legitimacy once America starts this war. Another point very interesting is that Trump doesn't have his support base on this. Less than 22% Americans support America's war with Iran.
Okay.
So
the fact that Iran now seems to have some legitimacy, is the nuclear issue really driving this conflict, and how much will it shape the diplomacy that's going to follow? I mean, Iran can make the argument that it was attacked and hence needs a nuclear weapon.
No, nuclear issue is not driving this war. What is driving this war is the extremist radical ideology that Iranian regime has been propagating since 1979. It's an ideology that has directly threatened the existence of the Israeli state and negated the two-state solution that the rest of the world and even the Palestinians accepted. Mahmoud Abbas, a year back, from Ramallah, said this to the Iranians, that don't wash your hands with Palestinian blood. Try not to intervene in our matters. So I think Iran is on a bigger mission. Nuclearization is a means to that mission, which is the regional dominance, hegemony, propagating a kind of thought of Islam that doesn't work with the rest of the countries in the region. So I think nuclearization becomes an issue of fight, but the larger scheme is much different for the Iranian state.
Dr. Jangid, how are domestic politics, in Israel affecting the way that the leaders are handling the war, and even in Iran? Because after all, at the end of the day, you need the support of your people to be fighting a war.
Well, interestingly, in Israel, in the last 10 years, the country hasn't been united on anything that the Netanyahu and his government was, leading with. But Iranian issue has really united the Israelis. Many Israelis were out there for anti-war in Gaza. They were protesting against this government and its maximalist agenda on many fronts. But Iran is something that most of the Israelis relate as an existential threat. And this is what I said, that if one looks at it from the Israeli perspective, what Iran has been propagating against Israel since 1979 is extremely dangerous. So Netanyahu is very happy. For the first time, he stands very supported by a large scale of the Israeli society. Nothing like that happened for him in the last 15 years. He got a political rebirth in this, saga. Very worrying sign is happening in the military report. So today's military report said that Iranian domestic stability is really intact. That 8 days of attacks, overwhelming use of force hasn't really shaken the Iranian government. It seems like Iran is also holding it out well. Right. I think it would then make a case who will survive this fight, how long. I think now everybody is going to wait for the 2 weeks, and Israel will try to keep the pressure on Iran so that Iran doesn't really take the deal till the end of 2 weeks, and Iran will try to stand tall and make an image that it is really united as well in this hour of existential war with Israel.
Dr. Jangid, also, what sort of impact will this war have on things like oil prices, which people are concerned about, and for the larger peace of the region? Also, if we look at Israel's future in what looks like it's going to get, more and more isolated in this hostile neighborhood.
It is indeed the case. Kenneth Waltz used to be a guru of IR theories, and he used to tell us that nobody wins in war. Winning a war is like an earthquake. So Israel will not win this war even if Iran is not getting nuclear. Iran might not get nuclear for another 2 decades, but it doesn't mean Israel will have any political solution in Gaza. When it comes to the Iranians, again, for them, nuclear issue is a means. I think the survival of the regime is the objective, and the survival of the Shia revolution and its agenda is the ultimate aim of the regime. When we really look at wars, like, being an Indian, it really saddens the amount of ideological and power game can really make these states act in such a unilateral manner. I think Iran, what Iran has been up to will really not be in favor of the Iranian people as well as the rest of the region. And of course, a country like India and many parts of the world will suffer because of the oil prices. And what's going to be sad is that this war can also drag on for 6 months and maybe a year. I think that's a bigger worry that this war will have for the rest of the people.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Dr. Kinbraj Jangid, West Asia expert from OP Jindal Global University. Thank you for joining us from Tel Aviv and giving us an almost on-the-spot account of what's happening and a perspective. Now, moving on, the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, the President of India, on Friday visited the National Institute of Empowerment of Persons with Visual Disabilities at Dehradun. Now, during her visit, the President interacted with students. She reviewed facilities and also emphasized the importance of accessibility and equal opportunities for all. Speaking at this event, President Murmu noted that the National Education Policy of 2020, it includes specific provisions for ensuring equal learning opportunities for the differently abled children.
राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 में दिव्यांग बच्चों को अन्य बच्चों के समान अच्छी शिक्षा के अवसर प्रदान करने का प्रावधान है। सुगम्य भारत अभियान के माध्यम से सरकार दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण और समान भागीदारी के लिए प्रयत्नशील है। ये अभियान सुगम्य भौतिक वातावरण, परिवहन, सूचना एवं संचार परिस्थिति तंत्र विकसित करने पर बल दिया गया है। सरकार का ये प्रयास रहा है कि दिव्यांगजनों की पहुंच सरकारी भवनों, संस्थानों आदि में सुगम्य बनाया जाए।
Earlier in the day, President Murmu graced the opening of the Rashtrapati Niketan at Rajpur Road in Uttarakhand in the presence of the Governor, retired Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, and the State Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. The President also graced the opening of the Rashtrapati Tapovan and laid the foundation stone of the Rashtrapati Udyan. Now, the President also released a postage stamp on Raj Bhavan, Nainital, on the completion of 125 years. The Union Home Minister and the Minister of Cooperation of the Government of India, Amit Shah, on Friday, he addressed a national seminar which was organized in Mumbai on the occasion of the International Year of Cooperatives 2025. The minister said that while cooperatives can be an economic system for the entire world, for India, cooperation is a traditional philosophy of life. He stated that nearly 125-year-old cooperative movement has been a support for the country's poor, farmers, rural citizens, and especially women through many ups and downs. India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav addressed the India-Russia Business Dialogue at St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, and speaking at the forum, the minister narrated the growth story of the Indian economy.
Our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, he took a very pragmatic approach and changed the course of the economy towards an investment-led economy, investment-led growth, and we have seen the results. The rich world saw very high inflation, whereas we in our country had moderate inflation under control, and we have a consistent growth in the 6 to 8% real growth band.
India's infrastructure output grew 0.7% year-on-year in May. The index, which tracks activity across 8 sectors and makes up 40% of the country's industrial production, grew at a revised 1% in April compared to the initial estimate of 0.5%. Crude oil output dropped 1.8% year-on-year in May against a 2.8% fall in April. Natural gas production declined 3.6% year-on-year as against a 0.9% decline in April. Cement output rose 9.2% year-on-year in May compared to a 6.3% rise in April. Steel production increased 6.7% year-on-year against a 4.4% increase in April. Fertilizer production fell 5.9% year-on-year compared to a 4.2% drop in the previous month. Coal production increased 2.8% year-on-year compared to a 3.5% gain in April. Electricity generation fell 5.8% year-on-year in April against a 1.7% increase in April. Refinery products grew 1.1% year-on-year against a drop of 4.5% in April. Yoga is about plugging into an uninterrupted source of power. Now, India prepares for a grand celebration of the 11th International Day of Yoga on June 21, with the government rolling out a wide range of events across the country under this year's theme, which is Yoga for One Earth and One Health. Well, the stage is all set for a grand International Day of Yoga celebration. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister will join thousands in a display of unity, wellness, and India's timeless gift to the world. Siddharth Bharadwaj reports.
Famous for its beautiful beaches and natural beauty, Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh is fully prepared to host the 11th International Day of Yoga. The main event will take place at the RK Beach in Visakhapatnam. This year's Yoga Day will be grand and unique in many ways. Prime Minister Modi will participate in the main event and perform yoga. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu will also join him at the event. To make this celebration historic, the state government is making special arrangements. Under the Yoga Andhra initiative, the government is preparing to set a world record by organizing a mass yoga session with 5 lakh people on the beachside RK Beach Road.
The special thing about this event is that this will be participated by 500,000 people, which will be a world record. Earlier record was 165,000, 1,65,000. So it will surpass that record.
A green carpet has been laid on the road in front of the main stage. Large LED screens have been installed all around so that people can follow the 45-minute yoga protocol easily. Representatives from several countries will be participating in the grand celebration. Additionally, students from 20 countries currently living in India will also be joining the yoga event. Yoga sessions will also be held on board Indian Navy ships, where officers and personnel will participate. Residents of Visakhapatnam are equally excited and proud that their city is hosting this year's celebration.
We are very proud and very happy about that. At least 5 to 10% growth will come for us, especially for the Vizagians.
We are celebrating the International Yoga Day. We have completed the 10 years, 11th year is coming.
This year's theme for International Yoga Day is Yoga for One Earth, One Health. Yoga has had a positive impact both in India and around the world. To make this year's Yoga Day memorable, 10 special initiatives have been planned under the celebration. These include Yoga Sangam, Yoga Park, Yoga Unplugged, Harit Yoga, among others. The flagship initiative this year is Harit Yoga, under which yoga events will take place at 1 lakh locations across India, and a tree will be planted under the initiative Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam. People will also be educated about mission life. On International Day of Yoga, yoga events will also be held at UNESCO World Heritage Sites as well as at all prominent historical monuments across India.
So the stage is all set here in Vizag for the International Day of Yoga 2025, where many records are expected to be broken when thousands of people will come together and perform yoga. Yoga is the new win, and it provides the harmony between the mind and the body. Everyone today is making yoga as part of their everyday lives. With camera person Gaurav Giri, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Vizag.
And a day ahead of the 11th International Day of Yoga, celebrations to be led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Visakhapatnam made history as around 25,000 tribal children performed 108 Surya Namaskars in 108 minutes. The Surya Namaskar program has created a new world record, showcasing the discipline, dedication and spirit of the young participants. The spectacular demonstration, part of the grand Yoga Andhra 2025 initiative, took place at the Andhra University Engineering College grounds, adding a cultural and communal dimension as well to the global celebration of yoga on Saturday. Now, as the world gears up to celebrate the International Day of Yoga tomorrow, all eyes are on Visakhapatnam, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead the celebrations. Ahead of that big day, DD India spoke also to some enthusiastic volunteers from the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga who will be performing at the event. Here's what they had to say about their preparations and what yoga means to them.
The excitement is in the air as tomorrow is the 11th International Day of Yoga, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming here in Visakhapatnam, where I am right now, and I have some member from the Ministry of Ayush who will be instructing, and some of them will be performing. So let's first talk to the director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga Director. Hi sir, how excited are you for tomorrow?
Ultimately 100% excited, because this excited is more today because Andhra Pradesh are practicing and they are all they are training each and every person since 2 months. and we are fortunate to be trained them as a master trainers. To 600 people we trained online, and that excitement already started 2 months before, and today is high excited because tomorrow our Honorable Prime Minister will be here and he is going to lead whole the team, and excitement is many more because tomorrow there will be a world record where 5 lakhs people are going to perform the yoga.
Yoga means actually it's joining. It's a joining people, joining nature, joining Purusha and Prakriti. So this is what it means, yoga. So every corner of the world there people are joining here. So it's a very exciting evening here, and tomorrow it will be more exciting with the Honorable Prime Minister.
This year on 11th International Yoga Day, the slogan is One Earth and One Health. How this individual consciousness or individual self is connected with the Supreme One. How everyone is connected. The way youth is connected with each another is the way of yoga or way of the universe. How it comes and how it works. Like a nature connected with every single thing.
Whenever the International Day of Yoga happens, we always break the records. And this time we are setting the benchmarks more than the last time. So I'm very much excited for that.
No more an event, it's a festival. It's a way wherein people come in unison, they unite and they celebrate unity and harmony. People are very, very excited for tomorrow. It's the 11th International Day of Yoga 2025 and the excitement is on cloud 9. With camera person Gaurav Giri, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Visakhapatnam.
Well, in Indonesia, an actor once known for movie and film roles has established himself as a yogi and is making a mark teaching yoga and spirituality. The actor Anjasmara shares with our correspondent Chandani Vasandani about his journey and how different yoga is when it's practiced in Indonesia and in India.
In a peaceful home in South Jakarta, Indonesian actor turned yogi Anjasmara is leading a weekend yoga class on a Saturday morning. Since stepping back from our television screens, he has established himself as one of the early adopters of the yoga lifestyle in Indonesia.
I feels like that I have so many things in my life, but feel some emptiness inside me. So starting from there, I learned how to do the meditation, but unfortunately didn't work out. I do some small research and then I found out from one of the Buddhist book that I find out that if you want to learn meditation, you should learn yoga. Okay. Because in every aspect in yoga, there is meditation. Then I fall in love with it. I found so many improvement on my life, especially for my meditation quality, and I feel very close, I feel very close with myself.
He has now completed over 500 hours of teacher training and even learned from yoga masters in India. Over there, he discovered that yoga was more than just physical movement.
Well,
Can you share with me about that?
Yes, when I went to India, actually it's not. It's a casual learning actually.
Where in India?
In Rishikesh, I do discussion with all the Swamiji there, with all my friends who learn yoga from any kind of style of yoga in there. Yeah, and actually I go to India, it's for my spiritual journey.
Okay.
To deepen my spiritual journey even more.
One of the takeaways from his India visit was the stark difference between how yoga is practiced in the two countries.
Here in Jakarta, especially in the big city, not only in Jakarta actually, in the big city, we all practice only for our physical practice. But when you go to India, you can find something else. Not only physical practice, but your inner practice also, and your spiritual practice.
From celebrity to seeker, to student and now teacher. These days, Anjasmara still acts from time to time, but it's here is where he feels most at peace. This is Chani Vasandani in Jakarta.
And the 11th International Day of Yoga, highlighting the theme of Yoga for One Earth, One Health, was celebrated at the iconic Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Hundreds of yoga enthusiasts participated in the celebration. India's ambassador to the United States, Vinay Quatra, said that yoga is a phenomenal celebration of ancient Indian civilization.
Remarkable, phenomenal, and a very great celebration of ancient Indian civilizational heritage in the form of yoga. A large number of people from the extended Indian community and other people from the US are here. It's wonderful not just to talk to them about this civilizational heritage along with the invocation of some Vedic mantras, but also to be able to act out some of the asanas as a tribute to our civilizational heritage.
Meanwhile, Acharya Kovinda, highlighting the benefits of yoga, said that through yoga, one can maintain balance over one's emotions and thoughts.
Promoting yoga and meditation around the world for people to experience bliss and peace of mind. So when you are doing yoga asanas, you are balancing the glandular secretions, helping you to attain greater balance over your emotions and thoughts. So you will be less angry, less jealous, less fearful, and this will help you attain a certain balance that sets the stage for concentration and meditation. And through meditation, you can perfect the mind.
Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. And let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, the latest news and updates are available on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. And from all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much once again for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.